Welcome back to Investing Talk Podcast.
Good to be here.
Today we're taking a close look at Century Aluminum Co. We've gathered quite a bit of information on their financials, recent news, where they stand in the industry.
And we're going to try and make sense of it all for you.
Our goal is to really pull out the key insights, so you get the picture without getting bogged down in excessive detail.
Okay, so Century Aluminum, fundamentally they're a global metals and mining player.
Focused on primary aluminum, right? And aluminum bauxite, too.
Right, they've got smelters in the U.S., Kentucky, South Carolina, but also Iceland, the Netherlands.
And that alumina refinery down in Jamaica.
Let's touch on the U.S. plants quickly. Hawesville in Kentucky is pretty notable. It's the largest primary aluminum plant in the U.S.
Wow, largest. What kind of capacity are we talking?
Around 250,000 metric tons per year. Then there's Sabri, also Kentucky.
And Sabri's been doing well.
Apparently hit its highest output in 5 years recently.
Yeah.
About 220,000 tons capacity there.
Okay. And Met Holly, South Carolina.
Similar size, roughly 229,000 tons. They often highlight that one as being particularly advanced technologically within their U.S. operations.
Got it. They also make a point about sustainability and safety.
That's part of their stated corporate responsibility focus. Important stuff in this sector.
Okay, let's shift to the numbers. How did they perform recently, say, for 2024?
Full-year net sales came in around $2.22 billion.
What drove that growth?
Seems like two main things. Higher sales of alumina to third parties and, well, favorable aluminum prices.
Linked to the LME, the London Metal Exchange premiums, I assume.
That's usually how it works, yes. Those premiums play a big role.
And looking back a bit further, say 3 to 5 years, is the revenue trend generally positive?
It appears to be. Supported by things like expansions, that billet cast house they built in Iceland, for instance.
Right. Moving into more specialized products, how does that filter down to earnings?
For 2024, the reported diluted EPS was $3.27 per share.
But there's usually an adjusted figure, too.
There is. Adjusted EPS, which backs out some one-time items like acquisition gains, was closer to $1.11.
Still, $1.11 adjusted. That sounds like an improvement over the previous year.
It does represent a significant improvement in underlying profitability, yes.
And what about their cash situation? Liquidity?
Looked pretty strong at the end of 2024. They had $244.5 million in cash.
Okay.
And another, $32.9 million in cash equivalents, so healthy cash generation.
That feeds into net income, too, I suppose.
Absolutely. Net income saw a big boost, over $320 million reported, though that includes those gains from an acquisition.
And the adjusted net income.
Also showed strong growth. Came in at $104 million for the full year. That's up substantially, about $73 million from 2023.
And adjusted EBITDA followed suit.
Similar story there, definite improvement.
Let's maybe zoom in on the last quarter, Q4 2024. Anything specific stand out?
Sequentially from Q3, net sales were up 17%.
Same drivers, alumina sales and prices.
Primarily, yes. Although, interestingly, their actual shipments of primary aluminum dipped slightly, about 1% from the previous quarter.
And Q4 net income?
Net income attributable to shareholders was $47.7 million, a slight improvement.
Were there any unusual items helping that number?
There were some non-recurring benefits mentioned, things like settlements from force majeure events.
Unforeseen circumstances.
Correct. And also some recoveries related to Hurricane Beryl. The adjusted net income for Q4 was $45.9 million.
Okay, so painting a picture of improvement, how does this position them competitively? What are their strengths?
Well, cost leadership seems to be one area they focus on. You mentioned the Sabri plant hitting high output that points towards operational efficiency.
And the strategic move into value-added products, like with the Iceland expansion.
That's the other key piece, yeah. It helps them capture potentially better margins. They're a solid player, maybe not the biggest, but significant globally.
How does this fit into the wider industry trends?
There's definitely rising demand for lightweight metals. Think automotive, transportation, driven by that push for sustainability, electric vehicles, etc.
But there are risks too, naturally.
Oh, for sure. Raw material costs can be volatile. And environmental regulations are always evolving, sometimes getting stricter.
On the flip side, any tailwinds, government support.
The Section 45X tax credits in the U.S. could be beneficial. They're aimed at clean energy production, which is very relevant for energy-intensive aluminum smelting, potentially helps margins.
And Century has a view on trade policy, specifically tariffs.
They've been quite vocal in supporting the 25% tariff on primary aluminum imports into the U.S.
Their argument being?
Protecting American jobs and national security interests.
Let's talk management. Any key moves or events?
Well, the acquisition of General Luna Holdings happened under the current team, led by CEO Jesse Gary, and that clearly boosted the 2024 earnings.
And the CEO has been out presenting.
Yes, Jesse Gary presented at the BMO Global Metals Conference, both this year and last. Looks like February 2025 and February 2024, likely updating investors on strategy.
So putting it all together, how does the market seem to value them? What about valuation metrics?
Based on some analysts' price targets around, say, $15.43, and those EPS numbers we talked about, the forward PE could land somewhere in the mid-single digits to maybe low teens.
And it's a commodity stock, so likely higher volatility. Beta.
Typically, yes. Exposure to aluminum prices means the stock price can swing more than the broader market. Beta tends to reflect that.
We touched on risks earlier, raw materials, regulations. Any others worth highlighting?
Supply chain disruptions are always a potential issue for manufacturers.
Especially global ones.
Right. And we mentioned regulatory risk with environmental compliance and those Section 45X credits potentially changing. There's also always the possibility of litigation, which they disclose in their SEC filings, standard for public companies.
How do they stack up against the giants? Alcoa, Norsk Hydro.
Century's production capacity is smaller, around 700,000 metric tons total per year across their sites. Alcoa and Norsk Hydro are significantly larger operations.
Geographically, Century is U.S., Iceland, Jamaica, Netherlands.
Correct. So a bit more concentrated perhaps than some peers. Their strength seems to be those advanced U.S. plants and the improving profitability trend we've discussed.
But facing competition from bigger, more diversified companies.
That's the landscape, yes.
Looking forward, then, what are the key things to watch? Catalysts.
Upcoming quarterly earnings reports are always crucial. Expect one around mid to late April or May for Q1.
Any hints of new strategies from those CEO presentations?
Could be. Any major strategic initiative announcements would certainly be a catalyst.
And the risks remain the same. Regulations, commodity prices.
Those are the big ongoing ones, yes. Especially potential tweaks to the IRA tax credits and the inherent swings in aluminum pricing.
What's the general feeling among analysts covering the stock?
It seems generally positive. The consensus leans towards buy ratings, with price targets often clustering around that $15 mark or higher.
So a potential recommendation, considering everything.
Given the improving fundamentals balanced against those cyclical industry risks, maybe something like a hold or moderate buy feels appropriate. It could be interesting for investors seeking exposure specifically to primary aluminum.
And if listeners want to dig deeper themselves, where should they look?
The best place is always the primary source. Century Aluminum's own SEC filings. The 10K annual report, the 10Q quarterly reports.
Available on their investor relations site or the main SEC site?
Both. And of course, financial data providers, Bloomberg, Morningstar, Yahoo Finance, TradingView, they compile a lot of this information too.
Okay, so let's try to wrap this up. Century Aluminum, definitely showing some notable financial improvement lately.
Helped by market conditions, sure, but also seems like some strategic moves are paying off.
The aluminum sector has its ups and downs, that's clear. But their recent run, and what analysts are saying, it paints a potentially interesting picture.
Definitely worth keeping an eye on. Those upcoming earnings will be key.
We absolutely encourage you to check out those SEC filings if you want the full details. So what stands out most to you after hearing all this?
Let us know your thoughts.
Please subscribe, like, and comment. We appreciate the engagement.